Next we'll have roll call, please. Here. Here. And he did contact us, something came up that he had to go out of town, so that's why he's... Anyway, next we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda. Second.
There's a motion second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Adopted. Next, we move on to public comments. The floor is open for anybody that would like to make a comment about an item on the agenda or anything else. Just please identify yourself for the record.
Just drawing from the radio station, I don't know if, Mr. Mayor, if you're going to talk about what I sent you from last week at World Dairy Expo with the chicken ordinance. I sent
I didn't plan to at this one, no.
Oh, okay. If you are going to bring it up, that basically with your ordinance, there's a state law for, it's called the Wisconsin Livestock Identification Consortium. All livestock locations, including those in a city, that even if they have one chicken or one rabbit or something like that, they're supposed to register the premise with the state. And it's for disease notification, especially with the bird, the H5N1 bird flu. And so that's something that the council may want to consider down the road of amending your ordinance to have that as one of the rules, that you have to be registered with the state. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. There's no scheduled appearances. Next, we move on to the consent agenda. The following matters may be acted upon by the City Council utilizing a single vote. Individual items, which any member wishes to address in greater detail or as a separate item on the regular agenda, may be removed from the consent agenda upon the request of any council member. We have the minutes from the regular City Council meeting from September 25th, 2024, and the budget report for January through September. Would somebody like to make a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. It is approved. Next, move on to the business report. Mayor's report, just a few things to talk about. We met again, Matt and I met with the swim club again as we continue to work on the honor walls that we're going to have for the donors. In fact, we have somebody coming down from Eau Claire that's helping a company that we got a couple bids from, and we're getting that all together. Also had the opportunity to, with that meeting, Matt to report to them sort of an update on the pool, so they're all aware of everything that was going on, and so we're moving forward. We are also going to be looking for a new pool director. We're going to start advertising here. We've got a job description similar. We did a few changes to it, and so on and so forth, but obviously one of the things we do need to get a pool director in place and then start advertising, as far as we want to help getting staff in place. So we will, if you see those advertisements out there, that's why we're doing that. We also had another meeting. City Administrator and I met with Rural Fire concerning the district, going to the fire district. Had another good conversation. There's a number of the things that the rural have to do concerning their corporation, and we will be in a situation that to bring the final agreement, so we can at least agree on the terms of what the new district will look like to the full council here. If everything goes planned, that we would hope to have them all approved by the end of November, because it was looking like, because each one of the municipalities is going to obviously have to agree to take part, and again, once we get the agreement in place to do the fire district, and then the other stuff is going to have to fall in place. That the new group's going to have to start doing budgeting, those types of things. The exact date of the start is still up in the air. We need to get a few other questions answered before. Obviously, we would like to get it done sooner or later, but there's certain things that, as far as how we're going to be able to get them done by a certain date. So again, moving forward with it, but yet there's a number of hoops that need to be jumped through before we get to the final. Also, starting next week, the library is put together a planning, a long-term planning group Both myself and the city administrator will be serving on that. We actually will be meeting next Monday, the 14th. In fact, that's the reason why we're meeting at 4 o'clock, and that the Public Works meeting was moved back to 5 as we'll do our budget and so on. Also, just prior to this meeting, I also sat down with the city administrator to sort of review the budget situation. She's met with all the department heads, getting all those numbers in places. As far as what we're able to do, so there's a couple little things with the way the budget's set up. She's doing a little bit different, which is fine. It all makes sense. It's just that how it all stacks in. Overall, it seems like the budget will come together. There's going to be a few decisions to make. We're going to spend some money on a few things. We got a few requests out there, and seeing where we're going to fit in, and to do that. So again, as I said, we'll be doing that. So anyway, that's what I have. Are there any questions? Hearing none, there was nothing to move off the consent agenda. We'll move on to administrator's report.
I have very little to share, just a couple updates. We did get our new copier, so the police department will be getting the old one, and the new one has arrived and is installed and working like a dream, so thank you very much for that. The new website, I put the word out to them that we were moving forward, and I've done their initial survey to let them know what we like, what we didn't like, based on staff recommendations or staff looking at various things. It was kind of fun to look at other websites and say, oh, that's kind of neat, and ooh, that's not so great. So we're just waiting to get in their queue to start talking design as to what we're looking for. I was told that the information on our current website is up to date enough that they can, it should be a pretty easy transition for them with the design, so that was good to hear, because I was concerned that it wouldn't be, because of ours is so old. So other than that, the memo that was submitted is as it states, we do have some committee meetings coming up, Mondays now for the next 3 weeks, so please look at those. And I will try to get at least initial budget information out to you prior to those meetings. I'll email those to you and you can take a look, and then I'll probably have paper copies for you while you're sitting in the meeting, so it's just easier to read. So that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Any questions for the city administrator? Hearing none, next we have a discussion possible action regarding the purchase of badger books for elections for the 2025 budget.
And we did not get our quote in that I requested. So
It's probably like to table that for now because we don't have a quote to share with the council. And if you're not, badger books are, badger books are an electronic poll book. They're state approved. I had used them in my previous municipality, and they're very, very slick and make the clerk's life a whole lot easier than signing on paper. So we were just trying to get a quote for those and bring that forth to get them ordered this year, paid for next year. But we didn't get the quote like we were hoping. So we'll just have to table that until we get a quote, if that's possible.
And the one thing we had the conversation about, of course, we don't spend as much elections on next year because it's an off year. We don't have a fall election unless there's a special, but we just have the spring election. So it might be the opportunity when money we usually take out of that to go ahead and put that in.
When, do you know when you'll get that quote?
We were hoping to get it.
I mean, could it come tomorrow?
it could. I requested it and told her I wanted it by Friday of last week, and I never.
Do you have, like, my question is, can we, like, if we think it's something that's important to have this year, can we approve it, like, up to a certain level? Or do we have to have the actual quote?
Well, I think we've got time.
Oh, do we?
Let's get the quote. If because of the situation, we wouldn't use it till the spring election. And now the question is,
Gotcha.
the
Okay.
question is,
I thought you were trying to.
but the question is, I know there's some lag time, you said.
Yeah, yes.
If you do order them, it does take, because they produce them individually, I don't know.
She said if we got approval in October, they could have them here in February, so we could start using them in February. So there is going to be some lag time. We wouldn't get billed until January, but they would be here in time for the February election.
So at this point here, let's just wait. We'll wait and see and to get that.
Yeah.
To get that.
And we still want to have some training time in there for our poll workers too before
Yeah.
the election. So.
I guess we would just recommend just, I don't know if you need official action to table that item, or if you just want to just.
No, usually we don't take, we
Okay.
just say if there's no
Sure.
action's taken, and then we just
Sure.
move on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, public safety, police department, the chief is not, he had contacted me and was not able to be here tonight. He'd have any report at the next meeting. Next we move on to fire department, September report, Chief King.
September, we had 9 calls for the month. The new lighter truck 10 is in service. We have most of the bugs worked out of it. We're just got a couple
few minor things we're still working through. Next 3 to 4 weeks here, we'll be doing the annual fire prevention in all the schools and at the fire station, so we'll be out and about. Also, truck 10, the ladder truck, we're going around to all the different local fire departments, so any fire department that touches our district, we will be going out and just setting it up so they can see what all it entails to get it into like locations if they call for it. Just do some small training sessions with them. They're actually in London tonight. We were in Plum City last week, but they're going to all the local departments. So if you see the truck out at night, that's what they're doing. And then this Friday, our UTV, we've been waiting all summer to get the tracks put on. The tracks were on back order when we got the new ATV. So that'll be going in Friday to get the tracks put on. And then I did not put it on here, but we also landed 2 more grants again this month. The DNR grant, we got that's a 50-50 grant. That was an AED and some new portable radios. And then we got another grant through Triple Valley Energy for $5,000 for some hazmat stuff and to update and do our drone stuff. So we got another, I don't know how much the DNR grant was, but that's a 50-50 grant. But the Triple Valley Energy is 100% funded for $5,000. Any questions? What we got going?
Any questions for fire department? Hearing none, we'll move on to ambulance. Director Bingle.
In September, we had 27 calls. It was kind of a slower month for us. We had 1 transfer. The transfer was from Advent to Mayo in Rochester. We trained on stroke and seizure and mental health. Our upcoming event, we have the Ho 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 Craft Show that they put on at the school on November 30th is a fundraiser for the Durand ambulance. And that's all I really have, unless you have questions.
Any questions for ambulance? Hearing none, thank you. Public Works Utilities, Matt?
Yeah, and under the engineers portion of it, we've responded to the PSC and still working through the construction side of PSC approval. Last week we got our first response letter back from them with a few things that we had to correct and a few responses that we had to get back to them. That response was submitted today, so we will see on the construction side of getting PSC approval, as well as working through the rate case with Ellers probably later on December before we really start that with the PSC. Pool, they're working on the zero entry portion of the pool, getting all the plumbing in for all the play features. Hopefully be pouring the zero entry floor next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully. The roof trusses are up, should be sheeting it this afternoon into the rest of this week. Then after that they'll move into inside the building to finish the plumbing and the electrical. So the pool is moving along. Again, we're hoping to have that zero grade entry portion poured up and the gutters in before the 1st of November, before they kind of quit on the outside part and move into the mechanical room. As far as the rest of the public works, the parks were closed. We're working on closing parks this week. Memorial Park and both Chippewa Views were closed yesterday. Tarrant should be closing tomorrow. We're winterizing the campground and the bathrooms up there. The dock has come out today. The dock came out. Dock always comes out in October, goes back in May, weather permit, after the flood. So public works jobs are wrapping up. We did a bunch of blacktopping last week on Hardy Street and Wells and 4th and down by the sewer plant. So our summer projects are pretty much wrapped up. Moving into all of our winter stuff, and leaf season will be here, and sewer flushing hydrant dipping and some things like that. So unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
The nicer weather hasn't helped or hurt the pools, kind of.
Well, it's definitely helped us stay on that schedule for June 1st, so, or June 1st ultimately, but November 1st this year. So a lot of what they do is temperature dependent, so if it can't really get much above 50 degrees, then we can't do a whole heck of a lot. So as long as it's kind of staying in the middle 60s and the sun shining, we can keep plugging along.
I was just gonna say, has most of the pool been poured already and formed?
The deep end and the 3 foot to 5 foot section's all done, the floors and the walls. They gotta go back in there, and in the deep end, there's a curvature that has to get poured back in after the fact. But once we get this zero entry done, yeah, the pool shell will be in.
All right. Nice.
Okay, any other questions for Public Works Utilities? Okay, thank you. Next, the council will convene in a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 1985 1E for the deliberating or negotiating in the investing of public funds